Hey everybody, my name is Brandon, aka the Brando Critic, and today we are discussing, this is it folks, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2. Now, throughout these series of videos, I kept saying that Chamber of Secrets was my favorite Harry Potter movie, and while I do still think that's true, I think that's my nostalgic brain kicking in. So when I think of the Harry Potter movies as a whole, I'll think of the one movie, Chamber of Secrets, as the one pinnacle that turned me into a Harry Potter fan. However, looking back at all the movies and which one I was entertained the most and which one had just I had the most fun watching and the most satisfying experience watching, Deathly Hallows Part 2. And I was thinking about this. I saw it opening night, 2011. It was a couple days after my birthday. I just turned 16. And, you know, as soon as the movie opens, you hear Lily's theme. And it just sends shivers down your spine. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this is it. Some serious shit is about to go down in this movie. And it's that kind of climactic feeling where you're like, okay, this is it. This was the first time I ever had that feeling until Avengers Infinity War, which isn't even in the last Avengers movie. So obviously with the new Avengers movie coming out next year, I'm gonna have that feeling again. And I don't even know if I'm gonna have it for episode 9, to be honest with you, at least in terms of Star Wars. So, but it's a weird feeling. It's like, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over, and you're hoping, please, just don't let me down. You know, you've been making great movies up until now. You know, I've had some problems with Part 1, and I'm not a big fan of Order of the Phoenix as much as the other ones. Just please end on a high note. And I have this booklet, or this notebook right here, and I just listed all these awesome things because this movie is just satisfying moment after satisfying moment after satisfying moment. And just lots of fist pumps. You're like, oh yes! This movie, it doesn't have any time for setup. You know, they had Part 1 and they did all the boring things and all the setup that they needed to do for this one, and as soon as it starts, they're already planning, okay, we need to get into Gringotts and we need to get the Horcrux. And you know this is gonna be a wild ride. And I couldn't have asked for a better ending to probably my favorite film franchise ever. It's between Star Wars and Harry Potter. But in terms of the movie itself, this movie feels like a checklist saying, okay, so this is the final story, right? So we're gonna revisit a lot of things that you've seen before in other movies and read about, and I have a list of them here. So, you know, we revisit Gringotts Bank, right? So we haven't actually seen that since the first movie. We revisit the Chamber of Secrets, the wooden bridge, the Quidditch Stadium, Hogsmeade, and they use Honeyduke's Cellar, or they mention it. The Room of Requirement, the Forbidden Forest, Platform 9 3/4. You know, it goes back to all the locations that we know and love. I'm fanboying out right now. It's hard to speak. Same with the locations. A lot of imagery comes back in this movie. I don't know the spell, but when in Gringotts Bank, when Harry and Hermione and Ron are falling down, they use that spell that kind of stops them, right above the floor, kind of like the Mission Impossible. Whatever that spell is called, they use that again, the Order of the Phoenix. Plus, they have the Order of the Phoenix show up all in one row, and you know, they have the Marauders map. No time turner, which was nice. I'm glad that they don't bring back or bring in too many new things. It's a good opportunity to show us what we know and do a little bit of a spin on it. You know, we're in Hogwarts, this magical place, but obviously lots of death, lots of destruction, and it's intense. And speaking about intense moments, you know, right here, I just have a list of just so many different things, scene after scene, about just moments that I just wanted to jump out of my seat in just excitement. And let's go through them, shall we? So the entire Gringotts Bank sequence is awesome. You know, Professor McGonagall bringing down those guards, if I can remember the spell, it's Pierre Totem Locomota, and then those giant rock guards walk down, and then the music comes out, and it's oh shit's gonna go down, oh my god. All the Death Eaters shooting towards the castle, Ron and Hermione's kiss in the Chamber of Secrets, and I do realize I'm gonna spoil the whole movie, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then shut this review off right now. Go see it. Watch the entire series. The Voldemort yell after the goblet is destroyed, you know, he's just so pissed off and just ah! The broom chase through the Room of Requirement, Draco Malfoy's redemption, and probably my favorite scene in the entire franchise is Snape's memories. So when he dies and his tear goes into the flask and Harry Potter looks at all his memories and how he finds out how Snape was in love with Lily, and it totally changed the perspective of the character and really the whole series. It makes you do a double take, being like, oh my god, yeah, okay, like the person we thought Professor Snape was, it wasn't true, right? He was a good guy all along, and the reason why he was the way he was is because he was in love with Lily. And right after that, Harry's encounter with his parents, Sirius Black and Remus Lupin, and I was just thinking, like, the raw amount of emotion in this scene is so intense, and the dude's gonna be walking off to his death knowingly, sacrificing himself for the good of all of his friends and the castle and the wizarding world. You know, it's an intense scene, and they do a great job. Then with Harry going into wizard heaven in platform 9 3/4, or in limbo talking to Dumbledore, just a great scene. And you know, him coming back to life, and you know, just all of it's great. The final showdown with Voldemort, but by far the best thing in this movie, Neville Longbottom, the Sword of Gryffindor, and just boom, kills Nagini the snake, and you're just like, yeah, take that, Voldemort, you nosy son of a bitch, like, fuck yeah. It was so great, and this movie, I love it so much. I couldn't have asked for a more entertaining ending to this wonderful story. However, because I am a critic and I can never be satisfied, I'm gonna mention some problems. Or I should rephrase that. One problem with the movie, which isn't really the movie's fault, and some missed opportunities. But like I said before, I love this movie, and I mean, I can't complain. Like, they did an amazing job, and they ended this franchise on such a high note. But you know, if I was directing this movie, and I'm not saying that I could do a better job, but if they did some little tweaks, I really think this might have been one of the best movies I've ever seen. So my main problem with this movie, and it's not this movie's fault, it was to do with casting and to do with just a lack of build-up in previous movies, but Harry Potter and Ginny Weasley have zero chemistry. Like when they kiss and when Ginny Weasley says, oh, I know. I should care, but I don't, you know, like, I don't know. Is it because of the casting? Is Bonnie Wright just not a really good actress? Or was it just a lack of build-up between their relationship? Like, they just kind of like each other in the Half-Blood Prince. So, again, I can't really fault this movie for it, but for them to get together, they could have done a better job with that relationship. But in terms of the missed opportunities, there's a couple. I don't mind the way that Fred Weasley, is it Fred or George? I'm gonna say it's Fred, so correct me in the comment section down below. And Lupin, their deaths off screen, you know, if you're gonna make this like the most violent Harry Potter movie, show their deaths on screen, you know, do some slow motion, you know, like when Harry's running around with the trolls and the spiders in the courtyard, you could splice it in there, you know, like a Death Eater just like slow motion killing Fred and killing Lupin, and I mean Lavender Brown got her own little death moment. So, could have shown it. Number 2, when Hagrid brings Harry back and everyone sees Harry Potter is dead, but, you know, like, Ginny Weasley's like, Neville, who is that? Who is that Hagrid's carrying? No! Like, and then just no one's, it's pretty silent. Like, Harry Potter, the title of the frickin' movie, our main hero for 10 years is dead. I would have, if I was the director, I'd say, you know, okay, Rupert, Emma, everyone, this is our hero. He is dead. Everyone should be bawling their eyes out, right? Like, it should be a brutal scene to watch. And you know what? If Cedric Diggory's death can get a lot of emotion, then you know what? Harry Potter's death should be almost 5 times as more emotional. And the final one, and this one bothered me because it's not the ending I would have wanted. I can't complain because, again, this is just me wanting to be greedy. But when Harry defeats Voldemort, you know, when he floats off into the sky and he's just like pulling an Avengers Infinity War when he just kind of like fades away. The next scene is just no music. Everyone's just kind of, you know, wounded in the Great Hall talking, and, you know, Hagrid gives Harry a hug and Harry doesn't say a single word. And I'm thinking, okay, David Yates obviously went with the subtle approach, but it's been 10 years, 7 books, 8 movies, and they didn't have an idea of continuing on with the story with Fantastic Beasts, or I don't know if they're doing a Cursed Child movie, I'm not too sure. But 10 years, 8 movies, one of the biggest phenomenons since Star Wars in pop culture. I don't think the subtlety approach was appropriate. I honestly think you should just crank up that John Williams Reunion of Friends music and just like everyone's hugging each other, cheering, you know, like it's like a team winning the Stanley Cup or something. Just like Lord Voldemort, the wizard, the darkest wizard of all time, responsible for so much death, so much destruction, and a problem for 30 years, the first Wizarding War, the second Wizarding War, is finally destroyed. Harry Potter comes back to life, and he defeats him. Permanently. I think there should be just joyous, you know, Neville just like hugging Luna and giving her a kiss, and Ron and Hermione like jumping up in the air, kissing, and, you know, not like that. Ron and Hermione can have a kiss. You know, Harry and Ginny, you know, if they had more chemistry, you know, they kiss, and then Hagrid, you know, like, Harry just runs up to Hagrid, gives him a giant hug, and McGonagall's like, oh, like, everyone's so great, you know, like, 10 points to Gryffindor, you know, and just like Molly Weasley just hugs Ginny, just like, oh yeah, by the way, not my daughter, you bitch. Great moment. But like, just really crank up that John Williams score and just like, yes! You know, like, really pull on the heartstrings. You know, go for the jugular. This is your moment. And they go with the subtle approach. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it works. But it's been 10 years, 8 movies. I think they should have just gone for it. Just gone for the big, epic, yes, we finally defeated Voldemort moment. But we don't get that. Seems a little anticlimactic, but, you know, I can't really complain because this movie is amazing. 5 out of 5 stars. The best Harry Potter movie. I'll say Chamber of Secrets is my favorite because that's the movie that made me a Harry Potter fan, and that one brings me back to my childhood. But in terms of just entertainment value and just uplifting and yes, you know, just the yes movie, Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 is one of my favorite movies ever made. And to every one of you who has not seen the Harry Potter movies but have stayed through this review, I insist that I know for newcomers, they look at this and they say like, oh my god, it's 8 movies. You know, like I've seen Lord of the Rings, you know, like I don't need any more fantasy, like some boy wizard, like, or a wizard, Harry. Like, this movie, the reason why I love this franchise is because it plays upon your imagination. And that's why I think that's why I love movies in general. For the ability to escape this world and go into a totally different reality. Why do I love Star Wars? Because you can escape to all these different planets and spaceships and see all these cool aliens and Jedis and all these things. Why do I love Indiana Jones? Because you're going on an adventure, you're seeing different artifacts, you're fighting bad guys, and it's awesome. John Williams music, by the way. Why do I love Harry Potter? Because I think all of us deep down want to escape our world, get a letter saying, "Dear Brandon, you have been accepted to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry." And you go on a train, and you learn how to use magic, and you get to see all these wonderful things, and meet all these new people. And I did my Pottermore quiz again, I got Hufflepuff. It's bullshit, I'll say that. but these movies are pure magic. And I know it's about magic, but I consider this whole franchise magical, because it allows us to use our imagination. And I think that's one of the most powerful things any story can do. And Harry Potter is one of the best stories I've ever come across. And Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the greatest ending we could have asked for to a great franchise. Tell me down below again, what is your favorite Harry Potter movie? And thank you so much for watching. Take care.